And now, around the world and around the corner, it's the David Bowers Awards, bringing the best in indie music to millions of listeners worldwide with your host, the David Bowers. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, as well as our engineer extraordinaire, Nick the Geek, our entire crew here at the Asylum, and me. I'm John Bon Jovial. And now, here's the voice of indie music, the David Bowers.
Thank you very much there, legendary John Bon Jovial, and thank you, listeners, for joining us for another hour of all these exciting things we do, which is primarily play lots of good music and talk to some great artists. And we're going to get things off to a start this Father's Day this year with a very special track that I have to be honest with you, I have heard this track, and I've been sitting on it because it was to be held for a Father's Day special, and we're going to play it right now and salute all the fathers. As a matter of fact, let's dedicate this show to all the fathers in the world and make it our Father's Day special. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Smith Sisters Bluegrass with Face to Face.
Of my soul, hit my toes at fast pace.
Face to Face, Smith Sisters Bluegrass, and this tribute to dads everywhere and their father in particular. John Bon Jovial, your thoughts?
Oh, I like it, and I love the fatherly approach to it. What I was kind of thinking while I was listening to this, while it doesn't sound like them, I kept thinking that the folks that make up Alison Krauss and Union Station would really like that song. And because I've heard them do similar types of music.
You mentioned that. I could definitely hear them doing that. Yeah. But this is a
beautiful song.
This is more than just a fatherly tribute by the girls. This is a Well, you really have to go to their website and read the story that goes with this, because it's it's a true story in ways. So you really need to hear how they explain it and tell you the story behind this song. But it is a beautiful tribute to dads everywhere, and we're so glad they let us share this on the David Bowers Awards this Father's Day 2020. Thank you very much, girls. A pleasure. And we look forward to the next time we have the girls on the show here. John Bon Jovial, how are things in Camp Swampy?
Oh, lately, pretty swampy.
Good.
We, this past Saturday, in 1 hour's time, we had about 3 1/4 inches of rain in 1 hour. It was just an awesome display of wetness, is what it was.
Would it be safe for me to say your drought is over?
The drought is over for the moment. Yes. There was, it was really only up to a couple of weeks ago that the grass was brown and dying, and the flowers and all the shrubbery were doing a WT heck to me.
Well,
I can't say that other word. This is a family show.
This is a family show, yeah. But as you know, I have had this incredulous feeling for forever. It is so hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that an area that is not only surrounded by water, but is literally sitting on or in the water could possibly have a drought. It's like something out of some science fiction movie.
Welcome to Florida.
I know, as the old saying goes, been there, done that.
Oh,
but
yes.
Yeah, it is. It's good to know you got some rain, but that's an awful lot at one time for any area. And as they joke about, or used to, I haven't heard so much lately, they used to joke about California breaking off and floating out into the ocean or whatever, at least half the state. I worry about about Florida sinking into the ocean.
Well, we went from about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we went from a year-to-date deficit of about 6 inches of rain to now we have a surplus of about 4 inches of rain. And it's been pretty wet, and the humidity has been awful. And as a result of the rain now, the helicopter-sized Florida state bird, a.k.a. mosquitoes, are coming out. So you have to kind of dodge those. But I understand that out there in the Arizona desert, you've been getting some mild evenings and rather hot afternoons.
Yeah, actually, the evenings have warmed up to a great degree. It stays, shall we say, mildly warm. And it stays up into the 90s until about 8, 9 o'clock at night, and sometimes later than that. And we've had 2, 3 110 degree days already, and we know there's more on the way. But then our monsoon season just started today, as a matter of fact. This is recorded, as most of our listeners know, in advance, and this was recorded on June 15th, and that is the start of our monsoon season. So we should be getting some torrential rains somewhere in the very near future. The thing is, here it's so dry that it can rain today and be dry tomorrow, so you don't really notice it. This is full-time drought here, but the problem is the ground is so hard, the rain comes in and it just washes off. It doesn't really sink in, which is not necessarily a good thing.
Well, I can remember living out in New Mexico, and, we'd go for long periods of time without rain, and then when we did, the arroyos would start running. And it was just impressive as all get out. And really, the last place you wanted to be was was facing that torrent of water when it suddenly appears out of nowhere.
And that's just it. It does appear suddenly. If you are in one and one is in there's a flood coming down it, if you have a few seconds to get the heck out of the way, you're lucky, because a lot of people don't. And people, especially people that aren't familiar with the area, forget that, and they'll be out hiking or driving off-road or even horseback riding. And we'll get caught. We'll have people getting caught in those situations every year. And some of them, unfortunately, don't get out of those situations. It's not a good thing. You have to really be on your toes and know what's going on, because it can sneak up on you. But, anyway, we are here on the Father's Day edition of the David Bowers Awards, and we'll be welcoming a couple of guests, 2 or 3 guests coming up in the not too far distant future in the next few minutes over the hour. And this is the show where every show is an award show, which, of course, makes all of our guests award winners. And we want to also extend our thanks to Titty Bingo, our house band, for our theme music. And since we are the award show, we also want to thank Mary Perry, an accredited disability underwriter in Rochester, New York, who actually she underwrites our show so that the good listeners of ours up in Rochester, New York, get to hear us every weekend. And we are, of course, carried by WRFZ FM 106.3. That's Rochester Free Radio. Thanks to Mary Perry's considerable and continuing support. We thank you very much for that, Mary Perry. Also want to mention a couple of our friends on WRFZ. Steve Litvak's Rock and Roll Rumble Show, which follows the David Bowers Awards on Rochester Free Radio's Saturday. And we start at noon, and then at 1 o'clock, Steve Litvak's Rock and Roll Rumble. And after that, you get Armand Spins. And that's Armand Schauberg and his son Eric. And he's got some great music that you probably never heard of before. He searches out the good, the eclectic, the unusual, the stuff that should have been a hit but wasn't for whatever reason. And you will hear some great music there. So you check that out. And for those of you around the world, you can pick it up too. You can find Rochester Free Radio online at, coincidentally, rochesterfreeradio.com. Check it out. And also let us know what you think, because we like to hear what our listeners think about their programming. I mean, we get the email on our listeners about our show, and we appreciate that and value everyone. But we'd like to know what you think of other things like Rochester Free Radio's music shows and show artists you'd like to hear on the show here. If you hear a new artist come up, or if you know one that you would like to have on the show, or at least have his music featured on the show, by all means, drop us a line. David at TheDavidBowers.com is the simple email address, and we'd love to hear from you. Also, if you have someone or something that you think deserves an award, a music-related act that is, really super or really dumb, whatever, drop us a line about that, too, at David at TheDavidBowers.com. And, hey, who knows? We may take your suggestion and make it an award winner here on the show. I guess we've got music ready to roll. I know we've got a guest standing by waiting to come in and talk to us. So we're going to bring you another group from upstate New York today. They are I think you're going to like them because of their difference. They're not your regular rock. They're kind of contemporary with a real heavy throwback sound to the psychedelic rock of the late 60s into the 70s. Let's listen now to Trampoline Jetstream.